started. It's good. He's getting
Good evening, beautiful people. How are you guys doing? My name is Han Rolo, and there's 3 things you should know about me. I like Star Wars, hip-hop culture, and social activism. I hope you at least like one of them. Alright, so my first piece is called Innocent Criminals, and it's a fairly new one, so I'm going to read it to you. And it goes like this. All along the watchtowers, guards shine the floodlights. Cloaked by the night, they slip through the cracks. They're off into the distance, pitch black. The shuffling of feet kicking up dust, hearts pounding to a furious beat. Shh! El Coyote tells him, keep it moving and be quiet. With only the clothes on his back, Francisco's making the trip up north where the means to the American dream is inscribed with, in God we trust. Now driven by 24-karat lust, in Mexico he was standing at the edge of a knife. The inflation was rough, and the hunger pains were just too much. Kiss the wife and the kids as tears stream down their cheeks. They exchange goodbyes, and they tell him good luck. The weeks turn into months, and the months turn into a year. At every chance, he diligently saves the menial wages from the fruit processing plant. Like the big Manzana NYC, tossing and turning, he doesn't sleep on the night he arranges for his wife and children to creep through Tijuana. Hands callous and wrinkled from the years of echándole ganas. Years later, his son calls him on the phone and tells him, Dad, don't you want to go back? He replies, Mijo, to visit, but this is my home. It rears its ugly head during times of economic duress, with no direction from the left, right-wing bigot stress that illegal immigrants made this country a mess. But let's put this notion to the test. Who passed free trade agreements with the mentality of corporations first and forget the rest? Who bailed out the big banks and authorized to fund the war with a yes vote? Who forced the developing world into buying overpriced, unnecessary goods while exporting huge portions of their natural resources? Behold, capitalism promises us the world, and considering the globe is 70% water in the sea of quote-unquote progress, the working class is dying just to stay abreast. We in the same sinking boat, but we're fighting for crumbs off the table to the death. Elites tell us, welcome to the land of the free like Ellis Island, and tyrants say migrant, scrub and scrape, but after you're done, stay the hell out of sight. Muttered under the same breath, it's a Jekyll and Hyde complex. Though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Uttered by souls in distress, crossing to Tucson makes much more sense in the context when compared to the lip service paid by fake Christians unto steeples. If this is a Christian nation, where's the compassion when they call us illegals? Yep. People dying and families parted like the Red Sea. The stench of hypocrisy reaches the high heavens. See, they don't practice what they preach. These stigmas, like a scarlet letter, burn to her soul. Outside her circle of friends, they'll judge her, so she doesn't disclose. 22 years old, and her immediate kin is the only family she's ever known since her mom and dad crossed desert terrain to give her a fighting chance of making it when her ass was grown. She was only 1 year old when she crossed the border. Migrant housing projects, roach-infested and neglected, government cheese and charity handouts. That's expected when one grows up in the shadows. Just like her, there are over 12 million just like her. In college, Chicano studies helped her hone in on the cause and effect Homeland Security and police to serve and protect border checkpoints with infrared automatics and predator drones, forced women, men, and children to cross the remote and dangerous zones. Heat strokes, drownings, and murders. Some are never resolved, laid to rest in unmarked tombstones. Casualties of a broken system. She's got the biggest heart. Downtrodden and pissed on, so she wants to help and assist them. Slick black hair, brown complexion, and dimples. Her fist in the air with peace symbols, red, white, and blue picket signs that say stop the raids, and no one is illegal. Never letting history fade, she's aware that immigrants made America despite the hysteria, xenophobic hysteria in your area. See, Mao said political power comes at the barrel end of a gun, but I believe that change starts at the feet of our young, who will speak wisdom to counter lies politicians with forked tongues have sprung against the people of the fifth son. An injustice to one is an injustice to all. Line up the suspects, from those who cross the gates to those who legislate hate. violent and the vocal ones, and the ones who remain criminals. ML King said that everyone has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws. So, criminales todo. Let's do that.
Yeah!
This is actually a song, but I'm still getting to recording it, and it'll be out eventually, but it's called The Empire Strikes Back.
Star Wars.
Yeah, that's Star Wars references. I reside in the underground, where shh is dope, the shining beacon of a new hope. Democrats and Republicans, man, well, they're a joke, so we're a voice for the marginalized and the broke, plotting in the basement filled with weed smoke. Public enemies, we're in the crosshair of sniper scopes, kind of like when King, Malcolm, and Hampton spoke. You saw the bodies flow when the levees broke and the CIA facilitated the flow of coke into the inner cities. They don't give a damn if our living conditions are shitty. The empire's history is dark and gritty. While sellouts rap about money, clubs, and girls sitting up in their fancy cars real pretty, I'm in the coup d'etat committee. This is music for the murder to stir the masses. Big brother harasses with riot gear and gases. The people's militia fighting for the lower classes. Click, clack, I'm strapped, and when the empire strikes back, I'll attack with revolutionary rap. We take them back to the days where rap wasn't so whack, spit knowledge on tracks, so we fight the same plan of attack. So, Rebel Alliance gang sign throw-ups, guerrilla tactics like Death Star blow-ups. So when Homeland Security shows up, we're waging sonic warfare out on the street, throwing Molotov cocktails of Prometheus feet to the drum beat until neoliberalism is in defeat and the police state is rendered obsolete. See, we don't retreat or turn the other cheek. We rise to our feet and organize because the wars are fought in the trenches. It's a cold war like sleeping in park benches. So we stacking more blasters than NRA conventions while homie Chewbacca's splitting neocon heads with wrenches. The war on terror is just an invention to take our rights. Indefinite detention is part of their arrangement. But we get rid of that stuff because they can't stop this socialist containment.
I don't even know if I should try to follow that. So Brenda was asking me if I had a stage name, and it never occurred to me that I could take on a different name. But I think the names I'm going to take on tonight, the names I'm going to wear are the names that my fathers had to wear. The names that have been given to him, like Spig, and Wetback, and Grasshopper, and Illegals. I think I'm going to wear those names for my father tonight. Much has been said about why we're here, and whether we should be here, and whose land this is. I'm going to read a poem called Ancestors that I hope answers that question. I am called upon by my ancestors and by our children not yet born to recall, to draw upon a larger, more complete history regarding this land you have claimed as your own. They want me to scream at me from a not-so-distant past to remind you that the graves of our great-great-grand-grandfathers and grandmothers lie within these lands, and that these graves were dug by our own hands before your time, that the roots of my people stretch farther and deeper into the fabric of this land than the short moment of your occupation. They remind me that justice is timeless and inevitable, that even though the laws have been changed to label us as foreigners, as illegal, as aliens, I say that even though these laws have been changed, that this does not make them just. And that I say that we are not the foreigners upon these lands, that we are not the trespassers. That when you say to us that we should go back to where we came from, I say to you that this is that place, that this continent is the cradle of our birth, that we are home, our ancestors beneath our feet through it. This one is called Brown. Brown like the earth is brown, ojos de almendra brown, a hungering brown, skin like the bark of the cinnamon tree, ancient furrowed brow, hands like tendril roots that plow and burrow through the brown clay of the riverbed. Brown, Mexican brown, spick brown, angry brown, café con leche brown, azúcar de caña brown, destitute brown, a place where hope withers. Brown, the kind of brown that waits for justice, like a brown fig rotting in the sun. And this last one is not mine, but I thought it was appropriate to read it by Naomi Shihab Nye. It's called Kindness. Because we are here to ask some things from you. We are here to take some things away from you. We're here to steal the myth of separateness from you. We're here to steal the idea that we don't belong here. And we mean to ask you for certain things like compassion and kindness, and that's what this poem is called. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go so you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop, the passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you. How he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows, and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to mail letters and purchase bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for," and then goes with you everywhere like a shadow or a friend. Thank you.